Hi, it's Joey and today I'm going to be watching The Wheel of Time, Season 2, Episode 2, Strangers and Friends. I'm so ready for another episode. A reminder that as always you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go! He's dreaming that he's killed everyone he loves. Oh, sweetheart. Sweetheart's not real. Dark One's still messing with him.
Another nightmare.
Who is this woman? Is she real?
All these nights together and it's always the same ending.
Don't expect anything different. He's enjoying himself, even if he's not letting himself get too close. How are you? Bless him. He has a real place here. Wherever he is. Thank you. Rand, are you doing okay? Talk.
We need to leave if I'm to make it to the docks before sunset.
If
There's too much time already.
I'm to make it to the docks.
And I don't want my saddle to slip.
She is keeping him at arm's length.
Sorry, we were worried that you might.
They're collecting children. Right? So they took the little girl. He grabbed for that boy.
Whatever you're doing to me, I want no part of it.
Perrin, it's not him.
Doesn't work that way.
He might be helping to magnify whatever you already possess. I don't know, but it's in you, and it's okay. Okay, I just need to, like, put my mind at ease on something. Citric! I knew that was Citric! All last episode it was bothering me, and I told myself I was going to check if it was Citric or not in the previous, in between episodes, and I didn't. And it's Citric! Please be a good character, Citric. Sorry, if you haven't seen The Last Kingdom, watch it.
He was alive when they did this. When they started, at least.
Fuck. Ooh.
What could do this?
Fuck.
Back to the horses.
Fascinating. So somebody is hunting the Shade, or did the Shade fail at a task so it was punished? And they left quickly, but it wasn't us they fled from. Fascinating.
Want to go for a walk?
I'm very interested about, like, is he here for a purpose? Like, to find information? If he's near where the Aiel War happened, is he here to get more information about who he is, where he came from? Or is he here to kind of do some good deeds to prove he's still good?
But before,
He is still good.
and your women,
Even fiercer?
even fiercer.
Have we had this conversation?
You survived.
If I have misplaced my heron-marked sword,
I tried to sneak my sword in again sometime.
cutting the clouds.
So yeah, this is where his father at least served, if not came from an old PTSD, and there are bitches who work here too, of course.
Glory days, right, old man? Always good for a laugh.
Some people should not work in a place like this.
These days. He caught us by surprise. Next time, I'll be ready for you.
Rand is so good. See, I think Rand could just be here for learning about his family. I have been wondering this scene if the famous resident is Logain in the garden, because it did look like when in the trailer Rand was speaking to Logain, it did look like they were in a garden. Maybe we'll see, which could suggest he's here to get closer to Logain to learn about going mad from him, or not going mad. I also think it's very interesting that he is here, the place where his father searched. I think people said his father was from the Two Rivers. He just went to, like, experience the world and became a mercenary soldier and fought with the people of this place with the heron marked blade, and then fought against his mother, biological. It's a place that there are still people who are suffering from like PTSD or dementia, that's whatever, from the war that he was conceived at the end of. Like it's not conceived, birthed at the end of. It's very interesting. Like, is he here for both reasons? Is he here for the family reason and he's locked into seeing Legaines here? What are you up to, Miranda, my love? Leandrin.
That was incredible.
Yeah. Is this
It's a lot of
actually...
practice.
See, I feel like this looks like Leandrin showing her a kindness of what good her wielding could do. But then I also think she pocketed the poison, so...
It's a response to the symptoms and disease you're presented with. But my Arja, we stop the disease taking root in the first place.
You're not supposed to be.
Channel are not a disease.
Mm-hmm.
We can do more than just react. We can change the course of history itself.
Some people shouldn't be allowed to do that, though.
I could make sure that I'm allowed to teach accepted.
You don't want Leandrin to... I mean, Leandrin might be able to train her. I don't think Nynaeve would ever become her. But I wouldn't want her to train me. God, even taking something to Matt, having just been with Nynaeve, and why did she take the poison? Nynaeve needs to follow her or something. Find out Matt's here. The sound he's very familiar with. I think it's probably just keeping him sane, having something to focus on, that he is doing something to escape. Who is this?
Blocking my door. Oh, are you a novice too? Will you show me what you've done with your room, will you? It's just with this tiny space, it's just impossible. I've seen closets this bigger.
A rich girl come here.
So you've just moved in too. They'd do a better job at cleaning up before we arrived, don't you think? Mine was full of
Pampered
rubbish
princess.
too. Oh,
She seems like someone without much experience of the real world.
lovely stitching. The whole daughter-heir thing.
I don't know what that is, no.
I'm Elaine Tricant,
Hello?
daughter-heir of Andor. You were my subject.
Oh, great.
I'm Egwene Alvear.
Don't you wonder what the future might hold for us?
She seems so far, this character, like a very genuine, hopefully that's not true, naive, sheltered girl who has never really been about people that are not nobles and royalty. I'm intrigued to learn more about her. Also intrigued if she is a princess of Andor. I have no idea what station Rand's family was, but if she is in relation to him.
The last battle's near, sister.
Does everybody here? I'm intrigued about if the rest of the White Tower know the dragon has been born. Do they know he existed and think he died? Or do they just think that there are false dragons popping up and we have yet to find the dragon? I wonder.
And would you not have Nynaeve at our side? Fighting it?
I mean, let's have her alive,
The mistress of
prepared.
Lamassus.
Is she being led somewhere? Is this where Matt is? Or is this the archers? Just a way out. How she sneaks into town. Which is good to know.
The smell.
Tastes better than it smells.
I hope.
Go in. Go in.
Because I'm still like, anybody could be a dark friend.
They're not your pack, you know. The Shinarans.
It's Pax the Two Rivers. But they're people on a common purpose.
I assume it's one of the boys you brought back to Talvalon last autumn.
Ooh. In the know.
The dragon.
Who else knows?
That's not common knowledge among the Aes Sedai.
Well, what's broken cannot always be healed.
I know, but it can be sometimes, and that's
I
what we
need an oath
focus
of
on.
allegiance, sister.
That I will never betray you.
There was an Aes Sedai around that table of at least somebody wearing the ring of an Aes Sedai, around the table at the beginning of the Dark Friends.
That I won't ever betray him.
What's gonna happen to make her have access to the One Power again? Is he gonna kill him and take the keys? Or take his job? You can't control it, sweetheart. Did he kill him with the power? Is that gonna draw, like, fades and people? Oh no, he's not dead. Will he know Rand used it? And every time he uses it, it brings him closer, right? Is she a dark friend?
When things get bad, we want to be alone.
He has asked you to leave. Please respect that.
Yes.
He's not himself tonight. Rand! I mean, if he puts his energy into that rather than the, you know, the power, I guess, good on him.
If what she did demands punishment, then I will take it.
Then you will be in my office every morning for the next 3 months, feeling the switch on your shoulders.
Of course, Shiriam said I. Before breakfast or after?
Okay, there is some strength in this girl.
Of course.
Okay, the princess has got some steel in her because it would have been very easy, especially when hearing what the punishment was, to dob in the person that helped you, but she's not. Good on her.
You wanted them to clean it out.
A novice like any other will be good for her, I think. Her father? Or an old lover, but she's out age, I suppose. You can't judge with age with Aes Sedai, can you? Could even be a child, depending on how long they live. That's why she took it. Not for any nefarious reason. It's nice to know there is a nice side of her. It doesn't fully excuse everything else she did. She has a heart after all. In some ways makes her heartless actions worse.
Walk away from this place before I do something we both regret.
You have pried into her secrets.
You think I don't know that?
Crimson Thorn won't help with that.
She is a healer.
You go. You need turmeric to help smooth the inflammation.
Get out! Before I kill you, you get out!
Okay, she's only trying to help.
Get out! You stupid girl!
I know, obviously, she doesn't like other people seeing her weaknesses and her vulnerable spots, but Annie was literally just trying to help you.
I'm so sorry, my boy, my beautiful
Her son. She has a heart, but she doesn't use it very much. Did I said I have children commonly, or was it a secret?
Shit.
Yeah. Someone in there?
What?
So you're the possum that's been scratching at my wall. So what did you do to piss off
It's the seer!
Nothing.
Ah, I'm in.
Matt Coulson.
He is also a key point in the weavings. How did she end up here?
Running glances back at me. I thought it was a dark friend.
I thought she was a mercenary. Sent to kill me by my chimera.
And toss me in the water.
You threw Moraine Sedai in a pond. It's unwise to try separating a man from...
Any old warder can protect you from a Trolloc. But the right one can protect you from yourself.
Did she kind of provoke this conversation not to be a meddling person, not respecting other people, but instead to make Moiraine talk, to make her engage, to make her remember why she chose Lan in the first place and what their bond is actually there for beyond sensing each other's emotions?
No, I would rather not know the shit that's headed my way.
Matt,
Better head back.
why is she imprisoned here?
While we're asleep.
That was the dagger. Killing Rand? That is just one possible future that's not gonna happen.
Min, are you alright?
See, like, that could be... I mean, that vision is not coming to pass, and, you know, if it does come to pass, it was an intentional thing, and it's not going to kill Rand, okay? It's not coming to pass, and I'm putting my foot down right now. Not happening. Though I will say, at least it means Matt gets out of the cell. It's fine. He's not going to do it. But that could be two things. That could be Matt having got the dagger and gone mad and crazy with it and killing Rand. Or it could be Rand losing himself to the madness of the one power of the taint, or whatever it's called, like losing himself to that darkness, and Matt fulfilling the promise they made each other of never letting the other one go mad like they saw Loghain doing. So, like, that doesn't necessarily, I mean, it's not good, whatever it is, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's Matt going mad killing people. It could be Matt trying to actually be merciful to his friend. But also, it's never going to happen. I want to go back and see if you can tell what kind of dagger he has. Yeah, that looked like the dagger, but I'm not 100%. And she knows Rand. She knows Rand is the dragon, so what is she going to make of this? But imagine living your life and every day seeing glimpses like that of people's futures. This isn't very healthy, Rand.
You're with me.
You might be a dark friend, I don't trust you. You also could be imaginary. I have not left anything to chance with these thoughts.
Someone I wish I could forget.
Not really, you don't. But I suppose he does, because in his mind he's never going to see her again.
Maybe I like to tinker with things. Plus,
I think I like this girl.
Friends and...
Egwene, are you there?
She's next door, my
we
love.
came here together. She's my best friend.
Egwene's never there.
No, it's...
There really was moments in the trip when she thought she was going to turn out to be the dragon, like the super powerful one in the group. And in a way, like, Rand was the dragon. And he's more powerful than her. It's kind of, where does she fit in?
All I do is study.
Yeah.
Work myself to the bone, following the rules.
Oh dear.
She says she came here for me. To protect me.
Egwene's just venting. Thoughts she's never let herself say. Talk to her, okay? Oh, and I leave. These are
she tries.
just some more of Egwene's insecurities.
I know what jealousy looks like.
I like that she called her out on it, because she was just being jealous. I think those are natural emotions you feel, and I do think the majority of the time she has pushed them down and not let themselves but the more you push it down without venting it, it's natural to be jealous of things, you know. But if you let that taint your feeling of the other person and how you feel about them, that's when you have a problem. And they saying daughter heir, because I've been hearing door to heir, and door to heir makes more sense. So I just want to see, it is door to heir. Go back and look at the subtitles, because I kept thinking they were saying the door to the heir, and I thought that was a very weird title. It's hard to admit to yourself that those feelings you're feeling are jealousy as well. I want it to be Egwene, but it's going to be Lindrain.
Leandrin's to die.
Leandrin, not Lindrain.
If I could take back what is about to be offered to you, I would, but I've already set the wheels in motion, so here we are.
Because she saw your weakness and offered to help. Time for the archers, whether you're ready for it or not, and it could kill you, but no one here cares.
Is she ready to face the archers?
No.
She is ready. Passing through her fears, gain acceptance.
I mean, it could be good for her.
Does she know what she... But now is willing. Then, let her face what she fears.
It's a ceremony not entirely dissimilar from the Two Rivers ceremony of becoming a woman. Very, very different, of course, but a more extreme version, maybe. Ooh. She hasn't told him about this yet. Oof. They're not communicating, are they? Even a little.
You'll go to the tower, and I'll continue alone.
Oh fuck. I don't think that's the right answer for anyone.
I was wrong, Lan. And we're already losing it.
It's not a time to
The Quaindiar
separate.
that broke at the Eye of the World, that was the seal keeping Ishamael imprisoned.
That was what I feared.
The Forsaken.
We didn't defeat the Dark One. We set his strongest lieutenant free.
Also, he isn't the Dark
The
One.
Forsaken are 3,000 years old. They're the
Fuck.
strongest channelers that ever lived, and
He couldn't, no matter.
you have no conception of the power they wield.
Then tell me.
Exactly, don't shut him
You and
out.
I walk this path together. Every choice, every sacrifice.
We've never walked this path together.
My brain.
You've never seen the forest for the trees because I have never shown it to you.
I know what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can't push me away.
Rand's alive.
No.
Yes.
You said he was dead.
Did what I had to do to protect the Dragon Reborn because my loyalty is to him.
Fuck. Using even that to push him away.
You failed me. Without Perrin and Adelaus, I would be dead.
She is pushing him away. She does not want him to have any part in this.
I'll have her take your bond by force if I must.
Fuck.
I swore myself to you because I trusted you. Because I thought.
Marion, this is a bit extreme.
Equals.
We were never equals.
I mean, if I want to try and be like look at this in a very charitable way, she could mean because you're better than me. That's why we were never equals. Oh, I don't like this. Moiraine is a master at getting around the Aes Sedai not being able to lie thing. Like, she can weave a web of misinformation with the truth. So I don't, like, I feel like even if she did think she was better than Lan, even if she thinks she's better than everybody else because she's a powerful Aes Sedai, I don't think she would ever be this dismissive and hurtful of him unless she thought it would protect him or protect the wider picture for some reason. Unless she thinks she's off to certain death and she doesn't want him to have a role in it. Because the way they portrayed their bond, it came across as so true and genuinely loving each other. Beyond anything. For her to, just because they don't feel the bond, she's doing this to protect him for some reason. And it breaks my heart. God, watching her ride away alone. Oh dear, why are we seeing this place at night? Oh dear. Whenever we go to a place that seems friendly, it's never going to stay that way. It'd be nice if this was just a nightmare. Oh my god. Oh my god! The people that were hunting the Fays that made them leave. Is it the evil sheep sea pirate people that came at the end of the... I've been wondering when they would show up and what we would see of them. I'm sorry, Perrin, I've left you in a very unfortunate spot. But looking at their masks, were they hunting down... Are they just invading everybody? Were they specifically after the Fays? What is going on with them? But it's them, right? That's the masks and stuff. I could be totally off base here. Do they want Perrin specifically? Or are they just dragging everybody outside? Like, is it just complete luck for these villagers that there are soldiers here? Oh! Ouch. That helmet punching sounded like it hurt. Is this the sea pirate people? Are they just raiding along villages and stuff? They have no idea that, like, everything else is going on, or are they a part of everything else? Oh god, yeah. This does not seem good. Perrin! Oh god. Where's the hunter tracker dude? Jesus. Wow, good on you. You conquered this small village. She's with the dark friend, right? She was the one around the table with the weird claw fingers. So they are working with the evil people. Fuck. She is a dark one. Oh, he's even there! Fuck! I love that he's kept his style up from the past. Is she like another Forsaken or...
They'll have to be, won't they?
Oh god. Did you recognise like Alan Perrin? Yes, I did not murder somebody with the one power or attack somebody. This guy's not dead. With the one power last night, honest.
I was attacked in a full gate last night.
It's gonna be Lagain, right? I don't know, I'd have guessed that without the trailer. That's probably the one thing the trailer like spoiled, but it's not spoiling anything else. So I didn't know the how, what, when, where, why of this. Do you still go mad even if you're gentled? Does he recognize it in him? I hope
I
you...
have a feeling you and I have a lot more in common.
Rand, I hope you know what you're doing, my sweetheart. Okay, so... One thing that I always find when I watch episodes back to back is I worry that I'm going to talk about stuff that was episode 1, so if I do that, I am very sorry. Starting off with Rand, as we finished with Rand. He is in this place. Now, it's feeling more and more like he came here specifically for Loghain. Perhaps to talk to somebody who knows what it is to be a man with an immense strength in the one power. And knows the demons that Rand could be facing, maybe. I am not convinced that his landlady person is not secretly a dark friend. She could just be someone that, you know, is looking for some comfort like he is, but, you know, I don't trust anyone. I think it's just interesting that Loghain happens to be in this place that is so significant to Land's heritage. Like, he could have been anywhere, and he's here. He's also interesting, like, he was left alive to go mad so that he could be an example, but if he's just locked away in an asylum somewhere, or a facility somewhere, is he really being much of an example to anybody but the people he meets in the place? I suppose they could drag him out from time to time and put him on display. That seems miserable. Another question I have is, do you still go mad even after you're gentled? So is it basically just gentling? I mean, I guess, do you go a different kind of mad? I don't know. Like, obviously I know that being severed from the source is devastating and, you know, like there's no point to life and you have to kind of... Not many people survive that, but if you do survive that and you're a man, is the madness still there? So Rand, yeah. I mean, it's lucky that the orderly who was working with Loghain was a complete piece of work, because if he had been a genuine, sweet and honest soul, it would have been far worse when Rand beat him up. That wouldn't have been great, you would know, and I kind of feel like Rand would have still had to do something like that because he needed to get where he is now. He's here for a reason. He's not just here to mix them to hide and get by. He's still actively pursuing things. So it's lucky he was a dick. Rand was still, I mean, yes, obviously Rand is working here with an agenda. If he had been a terrible... And I suppose, actually, you don't have to be a particularly nice person to get promoted, because the dude that had the job before him wasn't a nice person. But he was very kind with that man. And I think every single day, the person you work with, you walk in and he accuses you of being an enemy and talks about how he killed people that look like you and, you know, is stuck in this past. But Rand sees him for what he is, a person, a very troubled person who needs kindness and understanding. And, you know, not disrespectful to him or anything, but just someone that needs to be patient with him, and he does that. And I think some of those interactions showed you the heart of Rand's character. He wasn't just pretending, he wasn't play acting. He was using it for a purpose, sure, but that was who he is. Just like giving money to the little kid. Rand is still good, and I will die on the hill that all of these characters are good, okay? And I'm assuming right now his plan is to get to know Loghain and to talk to him about the power and everything. I feel as though he is so understandably consumed with being the dragon and what that means, that he's not worrying too much about his parentage and everything, even though he is in a place that was fighting and like, you know, would be quite relevant to him. I just, you know, worried about him. Then if we flip-flop to another Andorian, we met Elaine, I believe her name was. And I only know that because I paused at one point and it said it on the side because my brain fog, otherwise I'd have had to write it down, but her name I think is Elaine. I think it probably helps that it's a fairly simple name. Now, upon first meeting, I thought this girl arriving with 1001, like, I thought, oh, she's going to be treated differently, she's going to be, like, I mean, obviously the stereotype would be that she would be an absolute pampered, spoiled brat princess. And I liked that not only was she not that, like, yes, she was still pampered, yes, she'd had a degree of a sheltered life. It had not occurred to her that not having loads of luxuries in your room was normal. She meant no offense when she was criticizing Egwene's room. She wasn't doing that kind of thing of like, oh, I'm sorry, is this your stuff? It was genuine, like, oh, you've just moved in too, thank God. Like, she was very genuine with her naivety. But there is a steel in there, you know, the way that she truly, I think, wanted to get to know Egwene, the way that she took the punishment for the woman that helped us put stuff in her room, instead of like learning as well that it wasn't just going to be writing lines or up extra early to work. It was going to be like physical pain of a degree. You wouldn't have necessarily blamed her if, I mean, I feel like that woman would have been fired and lost her job and her livelihood, but you know, a pampered, spoiled, rich princess would very easily have been like, oh, it was so-and-so, I did nothing wrong, I didn't know. But she took the responsibility, she acknowledged the mistake, and she took responsibility. I think she seems aware of how sheltered and pampered she is, and perhaps wants to correct that. I think she could be a very good friend with Egwene, and Egwene could be a good friend with her. I like that she called Egwene out on her jealousy because she is jealous. And I think jealousy is never a nice emotion, it's an ugly emotion, and it's not ever a flattering emotion to be aware of in yourself. I think we all feel it at one time or another, and it's completely understandable when you look at Egwene's situation that she would be feeling jealous of Nynaeve. Doesn't mean she doesn't love her, and I think it is such a show trope that one character walks by as another character is venting and saying slightly mean things about them. That kind of, I mean, again, I don't hate it. I think it makes sense that after what she'd been through, Nynaeve would go looking for Egwene, would hear voices in the next room, would think that sounds like me, would realise it was Egwene talking about her. So, like, I don't think it was, like, bad. I just feel like, and, you know, I think these characters are human and they're going to have their weak moments. They're going to have these moments when they go, it's just so hard for me. Why doesn't anyone see that? Why is everyone so focused on her? And, you know, was that Egwene's shining hour? No. But I think those are very human emotions to feel. And were she to know Egwene had, Nynaeve had heard them, she would be devastated because she has very much kept those feelings to herself. She could have said them to Nynaeve's face if that's what she wanted. She just wanted to get them out, you know? Another day of just being Nynaeve's friend, another day of not being strong enough, of doing everything right but not getting the results, and seeing somebody who has the potential to do everything you want do nothing. It is hard, of course it is, and I think especially when Nynaeve and Egwene have had the dynamic where Nynaeve is the mentor, Egwene the mentee, this is kind of a place where that Nynaeve doesn't need to fill that role anymore. Their paths have changed. But Nynaeve is kind of stagnant. I mean, we know she's not, but from Egwene's point of view, I kind of wish these girlies would talk a little bit more about how they're feeling, both of them. Nynaeve could say to Egwene about how she's struggling with being here and not try and protect her, but just be a friend. I feel like she has tried that twice. I will, to be fair, one time she wasn't there. I don't remember where she was. The second time she was next door having a little vent session. So Nynaeve is trying, I think, to reach out to Egwene. But I do think they really would have benefited from Nynaeve talking about how she was feeling and Egwene talking about how she's struggling and even saying, God, it's ridiculous, but I'm jealous of you. Like, you know, I wish I had what you had. And then they could kind of both talk about it. Because I think jealousy in a kind of, oh, I'm jealous of you, is a spiteful thing. But it also can just be a genuine thing you're feeling. So it breaks my heart that these two who are so close are currently not. I mean, Egwene doesn't know that they're currently not, but Nynaeve's, I don't want to talk to you right now, Egwene, was quite pointed. I don't blame Egwene for what she's feeling. I think they are both floundering, and it's a kind of an easy emotion to latch onto is jealousy. I hope her friendship, I mean, I feel like now, bless her, she's just going to become the friend of the daughter heir and the most powerful person, and everyone's going to ask her where either of them are constantly and not about herself. She will prove herself, she will come into her own. For another thing, she is younger than Nynaeve. Maybe her power needs more time to flourish and grow. She will be fine. And you're allowed to have weak moments where you let yourself vent your negative emotions. It doesn't mean you don't love the person you're venting about. Nynaeve, on the other hand, is still going through it. I would not want Leandrin to train me. Leandrin would offer, and I would say, look, I can leave the White Tower if you'd rather. Like, no. She really is trying to go to Egwene for help and comfort and support, and through no real fault of Egwene's own, she's not there. I don't think the Archers is the right call. That isn't to say that Nynaeve isn't necessarily capable of passing them, whatever they are. She very, very possibly is. But I don't think it's the right call because it's something that you're supposed to do when you're ready, when you're committed, I don't think Nynaeve's ready, basically. I think she hasn't confronted, she's not even 100% sure she wants to be here. And knowing that you can die is a little bit extreme. I think it is too soon for her. But maybe they feel like forcing her to confront this will force her to confront whatever is holding her back and will actually benefit her. Maybe on the other side of it, I'll be saying, yeah, no, they were right. It's what she needed. Who knows? Now, Leandrin. I still don't like her. I think how she is treating Matt and how they're treating the seer, whose name, Lynn, is it? I need to write her name down. A brain fog does not want to remember her name. When she said it, I was like, I'm going to remember that. I don't remember it. You know, just because she's the seer, she's in a dungeon. Like, is that because they want her to give her the information and she's refusing? I know that Moiraine was keeping her a secret of where her location was. And like Matt, yes, the danger of him with that dagger is great, I'm sure. But the way they're treating him is wrong. Like, yeah, it's a nice cell. It's not the bleakest little dungeon cell I've ever seen, but it's also not a particularly nice place to be spending your holidays. And like there are people here he knows, his friends, who they could visit him during their brief breaks. Instead, she tries to say things like they don't love you, they don't want you. It's just very clearly dodgy. She's trying to make him do something that will prove her right. And then finding out that her man that she sneaks off to see is her son. It makes me wonder a lot of things. I don't know whether or not Aes Sedai are allowed children. I'd sort of assume not, or at least if they have them, they then don't get to raise them or be in their lives, I would imagine. I know she hates men, so part of me almost wondered whether the child was conceived in a not very nice way that led to her hatred of men. I hope not. I think her character would be more interesting if she had had a good relationship with a man at some point. But again, I know that is a weak point for her. That is the biggest weakness she has, her biggest shame in a lot of ways, that she still loves this man, her child. It's the secret Moiraine used against her when she was like, oh, I'll tell everyone about the man you go and see. Which suggests that the Red Sisters would hate her for it, which maybe does mean it was a child conceived in love, because they're not meant to have anything to do with a woman, are they? With a man. Sorry, they can have whatever, I'm sure they can have whatever they want to do with women. They're not meant to have anything to do with a man. Now, so yes, it would be very startling to see Nynaeve suddenly in this place that is so very private to you. I don't blame her for telling her to leave, screaming at her to get out or whatever. That was a somewhat rational response. Then when Nynaeve offers to help, hitting her and screaming at her, and then being like, I wish you weren't going. I did this thing because I thought it was what was best for you, and now I don't. I don't understand Leandrin, and that's okay. You don't have to understand every character. I just know I don't like her. She could be a good teacher for Nynaeve in the sense that she will push her to doing things, but I don't think she is going to be the best teacher, if that comes to be. Nynaeve has given no indication that she would share the secret with anybody. Yes, she's vaguely tied with Moiraine because like they came together or whatever. Moiraine really knows. I think the moment Nynaeve tried to offer help and suggestions, guidance to help this person you care about so much so you keep them secret and come and see, the level of reaction with zero calming down after the fact. Leandrin, I think the main reason I don't like her is because she's so unstable, and I don't think she always has intentions that are good. And I think her vision of the right thing is extremely skewed from the actual right thing. And obviously the right thing can often be every character in the show could think they were doing the right thing and be doing 1,000 different things. But I feel like Leandrin's right thing is extraordinarily extreme, and a part of her knows that and doesn't care. Very worried about Nynaeve right now facing the Archers. I mean, she is phenomenally strong, we know that, but she's also kind of running away from that a little bit, and I don't know where that's going to leave her. I'm trying to think of who I've talked about. I don't think I talked about Moiraine and Lan. I don't know what's going on with Moiraine right now. Like, I think I need more information to understand what's in her head. But currently, going on what I do know, going on how I've got to know these characters, I don't believe she views Lan as extremely inferior, someone that she kept around because he was useful, and now he's failed one time, so fuck off. If that is the case, Moiraine can fuck off. Interesting character she will be, but she'll join Leandrin in my, well, I don't like you, fuck off, but also do stick around because you make the show interesting kind of character. I don't believe that for a second, but I do think it could be a range of things, from him being a reminder of what she has lost, of her thinking she is bringing him down, she is forcing him to be less than he could be, that she is forcing him to live a life that he could have when he could have a different one. It could be that she thinks she's going to such a dangerous place, she'd rather not have him there, especially when their bond isn't there to help protect him and strengthen him. Because I doubt it was easy for her to watch him get attacked by those Fays. Like, yes, the whole like, oh, you failed me, they had to come and save me is a thing, but she also wasn't able to protect him. So I don't think Moiraine has suddenly revealed herself to be a heartless bitch who never loved Lan. I think it is that she thinks it is for his own good, and maybe her own good as well, to completely cut herself off from the part of her that was once the great powerful Aes Sedai. Now she is an Aes Sedai in name only, really. I think she did it because she thought it would protect Lan and possibly herself in a way. I do not think she did it because she hated him, but I think she knows him well enough to know exactly how to hurt him enough to make him leave and not challenge her leaving. And it was very hard to watch that scene, like actually painful, and not like in a, oh, it's badly written way, but in a like, my heart hurts for these characters so much, I don't want to watch this, make it stop. Now I was going to say the most interesting thing, not really the most interesting thing, but the most interesting thing that I can speculate on with confidence is her revelation that Rand is alive. It happened in episode 2 to Lan. Now, if Lan goes to the White Tower, if he runs into Egwene, or if he runs into Nynaeve, Rand is alive. Is he going to tell them? I mean, I feel like he respects Nynaeve too much to lie to her about it, surely. And then, if from what the kinder of the two sisters said, you know, a lot of people figured out that one of those boys was the dragon. I'm guessing Leandrin. Does Leandrin think Matt's the dragon? Is that it? Is she trying to provoke him into proving that he's the dragon? Surely she knows it was Rand. Because like in the letter they talked about how Rand gave his life, but I don't know. Maybe that's what she's doing. Maybe she thinks he could be the dragon and she's trying to make him prove it, so she can gentle him and kill him. Or whatever. But it seems as though more people have cottoned on to what is going on in the world, what that likely means, and the fact that there is likely a dragon somewhere around. Moiraine suddenly rocks up with these people. They're going to figure it out. So I wonder whether word that Rand is alive is going to get out to more people beyond just the ones we care about. I don't know entirely what he'll do with that information. I think if he sees Nynaeve, I don't think he can keep it from her. Now, potentially, if she never mentions Rand, he might not mention it. But I also feel like he knows how much she cares about those kids, and it would be lying by omission, really. We will see, of course. Because, oh, of course, no, I forgot. He took the poem. He still has the poem. So he could go after Moiraine if he wanted to, because he knows, well, he doesn't know where she's going, but I'm presuming she's going somewhere as a result of the poem. So if that is the case, he could follow. Then we have Perrin and his little band. Not looking great for them. So we found the place, and it seemed as though to me Like, they were fighting and screaming, and then they grabbed the child. And we also know the little girl was taken. So are the Dark Friends running around taking children? Or was that the masked people? We know they killed the Fade. From what I'm guessing, the Dark Friends attacked the place, for whatever reason, took the child if they want children. I don't know. Oh no, I was going to say, and then the people showed up, but the people are with the Dark Friends, so I don't know. Because Ishmael, who is not the Dark One, the Dark One's number one, but who's the fucking Dark One? He rocked up with old Queen of the Sea people, and they're all together. So no, that theory doesn't make any sense. Who killed the Shade? Did they kill the Shade? Did the Shade fail? And so as a result, that's your punishment if you fail? Is he one of the ones... Was he part of the mission to get Moiraine and he failed, so they killed him? I don't know. A lot of stuff is going on here now. They've taken these people prisoner. They haven't slaughtered them. They're not just raiders. They are tied to the Dark One. These people have come across the sea with their scary warriors, who, I'm going to say that a lot of these, like, women using the One Power don't look exactly willing. Like, they look like slaves or some kind. Like, they've been, like, conditioned and trained to be like this. They have taken the people, and then are they ready? Well, they're going to have to be. I don't know what that means. I don't know if they are specifically here for people like Perrin, because they know he is linked to being a focal point of the wheel and the turning, or whether they were just here to grab up some villagers and have no clue who's there. One key thing to note is that the tracker man with the glowing eyes did not get captured, it would seem. He likes to sleep outside. Of course, that could mean he himself is a Dark Friend. It could also mean that he has sensed what was happening. It was too late to really do anything, so he has snuck away and he could help us. Very good episode. If I have missed someone, I'm so sorry. Like, especially having watched these episodes back to back, I'm like, did I think I talked about Egwene, but I actually did that last episode? I don't know. Fantastic episode. I adore this show. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. And thank you so much for watching.